Imagine a criminal network so precise that it outsmarts governments, predicts investigations, and bends intelligence agencies around a single man's will. Now imagine that same network trying to survive 1 year in the real world. That gap between what the Blacklist shows us and how intelligence actually works is enormous. This video isn't about pointing out plot holes. It's about understanding why the fantasy feels convincing, where it breaks, and what real power actually looks like when systems collide. Because the most unrealistic part of the Blacklist isn't the criminals. It's how cleanly the system fails. Centralized criminal genius. The first unrealistic advantage. In the Blacklist, the criminal network works because it is centralized. One brain, one strategist, one point of narrative gravity. That's also why it would collapse in reality. The danger here is structural. Real intelligence failures don't come from missing a genius. They come from too many competing ones. The pressure point is dependency. A network that relies on one interpreter of reality is brittle. It survives in fiction because nothing interrupts the chain of command. Centralization feels powerful, but it's fragile. Real systems survive by being messy. If a real intelligence agency faced a single criminal node with that much influence, it wouldn't target the man. It would fracture the incentives around him. Money dries up, access narrows, allies defect. Collapse happens quietly, not dramatically. The mastermind myth. Reddington's model assumes perfect memory across thousands of operations, instant strategic adjustments, and absolute subordinate compliance. Real criminal enterprises fragment under this weight. Actual networks persist through distribution, not concentration. When leadership centralizes, knowledge bottlenecks emerge. Decisions slow, innovation dies. A single arrest cascades into organizational paralysis. The biological ceiling. Human cognition has limits. Managing global operations requires delegation. But delegation means sharing information, which creates vulnerability. The show pretends this paradox doesn't exist. Secondary pressure point. What happens when the mastermind sleeps, gets sick, faces personal crisis? Fiction ignores these interruptions. Reality doesn't offer pause buttons. Speed, where fiction cheats the hardest. In the Blacklist, information moves instantly. Threat identified, asset deployed, resolution achieved. That speed is the illusion. The real danger point in intelligence work is latency, the time between knowing something and being allowed to act on it. Real agencies slow themselves down on purpose. Why? Because speed creates mistakes, and mistakes create exposure. Efficiency is not the same as power. Sometimes it's the opposite. If the Blacklist operated at real-world intelligence speed, most plots would die in committee. And that delay, frustrating as it is exactly what prevents catastrophic failure. The velocity problem. Fiction treats bureaucratic process as narrative drag, but those procedures exist because hasty intelligence work historically produces disasters. Real timeline breakdown. Intelligence collection, days to weeks. Verification through independent sources, another week minimum. Analytical contextualization, week or more. Legal review for operational compliance, 3 days if you're fortunate. Chain of command authorization, another week navigating risk assessment. Operational planning with contingencies, rarely less than several days. That's 6 weeks for a straightforward operation. The Blacklist completes this during commercial breaks. Every shortcut increases catastrophic error probability. Wrong targets, diplomatic incidents, blown covers. These aren't storylines. They're career-ending governmental crises. Agencies accept slowness because one prevented disaster justifies hundreds of delayed operations. Risk management mathematics favors caution when consequences include congressional investigations and international fallout. Jurisdiction, the silent killer of fictional networks. In the show, agencies cooperate when the plot needs it. In real life, jurisdiction is friction. Every boundary, local, federal, international, is a pressure point. Criminal networks exploit gaps. Agencies spend time negotiating them. The danger isn't incompetence, it's overlap. Power isn't about knowing everything. It's about deciding who is allowed to act. If the Blacklist criminals had to deal with real extradition law, financial compliance, and international treaties, their global reach would shrink to a paperwork nightmare. The border battlefield Reddington operates globally as though borders are suggestions. Reality presents a labyrinth of competing authorities, the jurisdictional maze. Local police handle street-level crime, but lack resources for complex financial tracking. State agencies investigate within borders, stopping at state lines. Federal bureaus compete for credit and resources while interpreting overlapping mandates differently. Intelligence services gather information but face restrictions on domestic enforcement. International cooperation requires treaties, formal requests, and diplomatic navigation. Real-world scenario. Tracking money through Swiss banks, Dubai property, Panamanian shell companies, and Estonian servers requires. Formal legal assistance requests. Weeks to months. Document translation and verification, weeks. Synchronized action across time zones. Political clearance at multiple governmental levels. The show resolves this with phone calls. Reality requires diplomatic infrastructure that moves at geologic speeds. Informants. Unrealistic loyalty versus real incentives. The show treats informants as emotionally consistent. That's fantasy. In real life, informants are unstable by design. They lie, they hedge, they protect themselves first. The danger point is assuming reliability instead of managing incentives. Trust doesn't scale. Systems do. If even one major blacklist informant behaved like a real one, inconsistent, opportunistic, legally advised, entire story arcs collapse under contradiction. The unreliable narrator economy. Reddington himself exemplifies the fictional informant, providing valuable intelligence while maintaining criminal operations. This appears sustainable only because the show ignores competing pressures. Real informants navigate. Legal jeopardy motivating them to minimize admissions while appearing cooperative. Criminal retaliation risk requiring operational secrecy about their cooperation. Financial incentives creating motivation to exaggerate threats or prolong investigations. Psychological strain from dual identities, degrading reliability over time. Legal representation advising them to limit disclosures. Handlers simultaneously extract maximum intelligence while managing inherent unreliability. Verifying claims independently, protecting identity, and documenting interactions to survive legal scrutiny. The cascade failure. Informant provides intelligence, leading to raids find nothing. Investigation reveals fabricated details for payment. Now, every previous intelligence piece becomes suspect, requiring retroactive verification. Cases collapse. Careers stall. Trust evaporates. Surveillance, the myth of total awareness. The blacklist implies near-perfect awareness. Phones tapped, movements tracked, secrets surfaced on demand. Reality is uglier. Data exists, but interpretation lags. Noise overwhelms signal. The pressure point isn't collection, it's correlation. The more data you have, the easier it is to miss what matters. If real agencies applied the show's confidence to actual surveillance, false positives would trigger investigations that burn credibility fast. And credibility is the currency intelligence runs on. The information overload crisis. Modern intelligence suffers from abundance, not scarcity. Billions of daily communications, millions of financial transactions, thousands under observation, hundreds of competing investigations. Surveillance isn't targeting, it's filtering. The show presents surveillance as identify subject, activate monitoring, receive answers. Reality presents collect massive data, identify potential patterns, investigate promising leads, discard false positives, repeat indefinitely, failure multiplication, pattern algorithms flag innocent behavior. Elderly person making legitimate large cash withdrawals gets money laundering investigation. Resources consumed, eventually cleared, but another genuine lead went uninvestigated during that diversion. Volume overwhelms analytical capacity. Prioritization becomes educated guesswork. Critical intelligence sits unexamined, while resources chase less significant threats. Technical sophistication creates gaps. Criminals exploit through encryption. Legal constraints require probable cause.
Judges deny requests. Blind spots emerge precisely where they matter most. Criminal coordination, fictional precision versus human error. In the show, criminal operations unfold like choreography. In reality, they fall apart because of ego, miscommunication, fear, boredom. The danger point is human variance. Systems fail where personalities collide. If Blacklist-level criminals faced real-world stress, prolonged uncertainty, internal suspicion, financial pressure, their precision degrades long before law enforcement intervenes. The entropy factor television criminals execute with military precision. Real criminals struggle with basic operational security. What fiction erases? Substance abuse from high-stress lifestyles, degrading decision-making. Relationship drama between associates, affairs, grudges, jealousy poisoning trust, financial pressure creating desperate decisions, status competition generating internal conflict, sustained vigilance, exhaustion, leading to careless security lapses, family complications creating innocent exposure through social media. The coordination impossibility, complex operations requiring 8 people executing specific tasks at precise times across 3 cities face statistical inevitability. Person A arrives late due to traffic. Person B misunderstands instructions. Person C panics at police presence. Person D's phone dies critically. Person E decides it's too risky and vanishes. Person F secretly records everything for insurance. Person G is actually cooperating with law enforcement. Person H executes perfectly, but nobody else did. This isn't incompetence, it's human variance at scale. The more complex the operation, the more failure opportunities cascade exponentially. Narrative closure. The luxury reality. Doesn't have every Blacklist episode ends with resolution. Someone wins, someone loses. The system resets. Real intelligence never resets. Investigations bleed into each other. Mistakes compound, decisions haunt. The danger point is accumulation. Power isn't about solving problems. It's about surviving the ones you never fully solve. If real agencies treated intelligence like episodic problems instead of long-term risk management, failure wouldn't be dramatic. It would be systemic. The continuity burden fiction offers catharsis. Reality offers only continuity. What episodic structure erases? Operational debt from promises to informants, prosecutorial deals, and foreign partner commitments that accumulate and limit flexibility. Institutional memory, where failed operations generate reviews, personnel changes disrupt continuity, and knowledge gets lost. Political consequences, where visible failures empower critics, reduce budgets, increase oversight. Psychological toll causing trauma, burnout. Moral injury that degrades performance. Network adaptation, where criminal organizations learn from encounters and evolve tactics. The show resets weekly. Real agencies carry accumulated weight of every previous operation into each new one. Each investigation creates obligations that constrain future options. Each mistake echoes through career trajectories and institutional trust. Each visible failure shifts political dynamics affecting resource allocation and operational freedom. Why the show still feels convincing. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The Blacklist isn't unrealistic because it exaggerates criminals. It's unrealistic because it simplifies institutions. It removes bureaucracy, politics, fatigue, liability, and in doing so, it makes control look elegant. Fiction flatters intelligence by pretending it's decisive. Reality survives by being cautious. The competence fantasy. We want to believe systems work this efficiently. That genius can centralize without fragmenting. That justice moves swiftly when necessary. That oversight exists without suffocating action. The Blacklist offers this fantasy because alternatives are uncomfortable. Real intelligence work is tedious paperwork, punctuated by occasional terror. Real criminal networks are disorganized chaos, occasionally succeeding despite itself. Real investigations take years, producing ambiguous results. Real justice is statistical, not narrative.
The show succeeds not by depicting reality, but by depicting our wishes for how reality should function. The danger emerges when mythology informs policy. When legislators believe criminal networks operate like television depicts, they fund interventions targeting wrong structural elements. When agencies optimize for speed because that appears competent on screen, they create conditions for catastrophic failure. When public expectations shape around fictional efficiency, real agencies face impossible standards and inevitable disappointment. If we evaluated intelligence work by realistic standards rather than fictional ones, success wouldn't be measured in dramatic arrests and thwarted conspiracies. It would be measured in boring metrics: reduced crime rates over decades, diplomatic stability, incremental cooperation improvements, slowly increasing conviction rates. The Blacklist couldn't survive a season with those stakes, but actual intelligence work does. Because reality doesn't need entertainment value, it just needs to be survivable. The real gap. The criminal network in the Blacklist looks unstoppable because the system around it behaves cleanly. Real intelligence agencies don't. They hesitate, they argue, they slow themselves down. And that's not weakness. That's why they last. If this breakdown shifted how you see fictional power versus real systems, you already know what to do. And if you want to explore more of these gaps, where stories simplify and reality gets dangerous, the next one is waiting. Because the biggest difference between fiction and reality isn't intelligence. It's how failure is allowed to happen.